All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Marcia Noel, Assistant to the City Manager, serving as your moderator for tonight's community teleconference. We want to thank everybody that has joined us this evening to get reports on COVID-19 and updates regarding city operations and really anything that's vital for you to know. So before we get into the call, we kindly ask that you please share this recording wherever you're watching on social media or TV 18, or even if you've called in this evening, please let somebody know that they too can join this call for community updates. As usual, we'll begin with reports from members serving in our Emergency Operations Center. And then afterwards, if there's any questions from the community, we'll open up the floor for Q&A. With that being said, we'll start with opening remarks from our City Manager, Jonathan Evans.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for listening in on our COVID-19 calls. Certainly, it's important for us as staff to make sure that the community is informed about what's going on and what we're seeing happen as it relates to the virus in our community, in the state, and in the nation for that matter. A couple of things that have recently occurred is that the county has extended Emergency Order 2020-012, which is the extension of masks, wearing facial coverings for additional 30 days. This is obviously provided by the guidance that has been communicated through the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and definitely reduces the opportunity for the spread of the virus. And so we as a city have made sure that our employees are adhering to this particular emergency order as issued by Palm Beach County, and making sure that those that are in businesses, restaurants, and the like are following this emergency order, as it is only intended to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our community. Also, the county did move forward with Emergency Order 2020-012, which provides guidance as it relates to recreational amenities, facilities, sporting leagues, etc. The emergency order did allow for parks amenities to open. Our parks have been open. However, some of the recreational amenities at our parks will still remain closed, as we don't want to create for the opportunity for the spreading of the virus. So playground areas, some of our basketball courts are not accessible. We are promoting passive recreation. If you want to get out there and walk or run, certainly those parks are available to you, but we do not want to allow for any recreational activities that require groups of individuals congregating or any organized sports. Since the onset of the entire pandemic, we have been discouraging folks from congregating or having large gatherings of more than 10 people to participate in any type of activity, as there is a chance for the spread of the virus. In those cases where there have been events that you've seen throughout the community, certainly we've done everything in our power to circle those events with the appropriate personal protective equipment, hand sanitizing, and hand washing stations and the like, to make sure that we are doing as much as we can to keep folks safe. Our facilities will remain open from dawn to dusk. We are monitoring our facilities closely. Our facilities are not just going to be observed by the passerby or as it relates to city staff, but also through some of our cameras that we have strategically placed throughout the community. So we are constantly watching what's going on in our park activities to make sure that there's not a situation that ends up occurring in any of our parks. So if you do see a bunch of folks congregating and participating in activities that could be problematic, please contact us at your earliest convenience. City facilities still remain open, and they are open for appointment only. If you do not know the number for scheduling an appointment, it is 561-845-4000. We are trying to provide as much service as possible to the residents of this community and making sure that we do that safely. If you do call, we can get you in same day. The earlier you call, the better off you'll be, and we'll be able to get you in and provide the service that is being requested. Some of the things that have been communicated to me through a variety of sources is that individuals are receiving disconnect notifications as it relates to utilities. The disconnect notifications that you are receiving is merely for you to contact us so we can work out an appropriate payment arrangement. In most of those cases, we have not seen a payment from those accounts in well over 3 to 4 months. And so what we're trying to do is work with you to continue to keep your service on, but work out an appropriate payment arrangement that doesn't adversely impact you, and nor do we want to have a situation where we're suspending services or you go a day or two without water. So please, when you do get the door hanger, or if you have any questions and you haven't gotten that door hanger, please contact us as quickly as possible. And you will hear our finance section chief and our finance director, Mr. Randy Sherman, communicate how to get a hold of his department that will be more than happy to assist you in making sure we get the arrangement and get that account current as quickly as possible. Testing for the employees still remains at the existing facility, but we are at the final stage of transitioning to a new facility that can provide test results for us within 24 to 48 hours. So that's a big win for our city employees, as we can safely get them treatment if they test positive, or get them safely back to work. But remember, sometimes when you do go for testing, it takes a little bit of time for the viral load in your system to register enough to where it does come up and give you a positive test result. So please continue to monitor your symptoms, how you're feeling. If you have to go to work, it's always better to err on the side of caution. And this is something we've communicated to our employees. And I believe every employer that is a decent and humane employer certainly would make sure that you're not forced to come to work, especially if you're not feeling well in this particular environment. So just continue to monitor your symptoms. Be conscientious that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is a virus that is here with us and will be with us for some time now. And there's already discussions about a second wave, as you can look to see as more activities start to occur, as Palm Beach County looks to move into phase 2, as well as we can anticipate brick and mortar school operations to start sometime in the very near future. So please be conscientious of what you're doing, where you're at. Wash your hands repeatedly with soap and water vigorously. Make sure you have your hand sanitizer, and always wear a mask. And encourage those that are with you, your loved ones, folks you may care for, to wear a mask. It is very easy and a simplistic item to utilize, but it saves the opportunity. It saves you from the potentiality of contracting the virus. And we know this virus operates and acts differently in every particular individual that it has contact with. You've heard a little bit of information from physicians and the discussions about convalescent plasma, and there's a big push. I've even seen billboards of the Surgeon General talking about the importance of convalescent plasma and how that's being utilized to assist in increasing the mortality rate for those that have contracted COVID. And so that is something that's new. Obviously, the Mayo Clinic did release some information on that. So continue to watch how that materializes, and always obtain information from credible and reliable sources, as we do, to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. There is discussions about therapeutics and things that are happening, but obviously this virus is morphing and changing and is becoming increasingly more challenging as it relates to being able to secure a vaccine that works for this particular virus. So we have to do everything in our power to prevent us getting exposed. And some of the things that you've heard us preach for a long time and that you see on the CDC's website and that you see at a lot of our restaurants, please follow those instructions. They're only intended to protect you, your family members, your colleagues, and your loved ones. And it's so important that you follow those instructions. The city of Riviera Beach is doing everything in its power to continue the feeding program and doing continued mass distributions to make sure that if you need anything, that the city is here to support you during this challenging time as an organization. So we ask that you keep the lines of communication open with us. You can reach us at 561-845-4000, and we are glad to assist, whether it's additional masks that you may need, information on feedings, on when testing will occur. We're here to provide all the services necessary, as well as the regular services that you enjoy from the city. So at this particular moment, that concludes my presentation, and I turn the call back over to you, Ms. Noel.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Next, we're going to hear from our Assistant Fire Chief, Keith Golden, in place of our Operations Chief, to provide you a report on operations.
Good evening. The Supervisor report for August 28th is as follows. In the state of Florida, we had 615,806 total cases of COVID, which resulted in 11,099 deaths. In Palm Beach County, we had 41,558 cases, which resulted in 1,099 deaths. In area code 33404, we've had 1,139 cases. The COVID-19 numbers are trending downward, which means our hospital admissions, ICU bed usage, ventilator usage, and daily positive percentage rates are also trending downward. Our daily positivity rates for Florida is at 5.7%, and in Palm Beach County, it's 6.34%. This is the data being used to determine when Palm Beach County will enter into phase 2. The plan will be discussed at the next Palm Beach County meeting. To Mr. Evans' point, Emergency Order 21 has been released, which allows for the following. Skate parks and bicycle tracks may be open with supervision as determined by park management. All park playgrounds, water playgrounds, play and exercise equipment may be open. Water fountains may be open. Volleyball courts may be open. And supervised sports at your own risk. Mr. Blankenship is putting together a disinfecting plan for all playground equipment to come soon. 15 ballpark testing is now conducting antibody testing that you must be 18 years of age, regardless of symptoms, and is by appointment only. Call 561-642-1000 for an appointment. Again, that number is 561-642-1000 for an appointment. They are also providing antigen testing, which is the rapid test. An appointment is required as well by calling the same number, 642-1000, or you can register online at tourhealth.com, which is tourhealth.com. Lastly, hurricane season. It is crucial for the public to prepare for hurricanes in advance, especially since COVID-19 may potentially impact hurricane planning and preparedness. Individuals should add face coverings and hand sanitizer to emergency supply kits to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Additionally, the public should reevaluate their household evacuation and sheltering plans, ensure the practice of social distancing and other safety measures when enacting plans. The most important things is safety and following local officials' guidance on evacuation, including recommendations to relocate inland and shelter. So continue to prepare, watch the tropics and Atlantic, and stay vigilant. And that concludes the operational report. I turn it back over to you, Ms. Noel.
Thank you, Chief Golden. Next, we're going to hear from our beach group leader, Ms. Franks.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Noel. Good evening, Riviera Beach residents. Lydia Franks, Assistant Director for Parks and Rec. Riviera Beach Municipal Beach Monitoring Operations will continue to be provided daily for your continued safety. Staff is on site to enforce and to remind all beachgoers of our CDC guidelines related to COVID-19. Our beach hours are daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Our ocean rescue and lifeguard and police personnel are also on site. As stated by the City Manager and Assistant Chief Golden, Palm Beach County passed the Executive Order 2021 reopening Parks and Rec facilities, but that does not pertain to Parks and Rec at this time, and we will be providing updates. All beach restrooms facilities will be cleaned, disinfected, and sanitized throughout the day, and please continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, and social distance. Thank you, Ms. Snell. That concludes my update.
All right, thank you, Ms. Franks. Next, we'll hear from our Health and Human Services Section Chief, Ms. Grimsley.
Thank you, Ms. Noel. Good evening. This is Valerie Grimsley, your YEP Director, acting as your Health and Human Services Section Chief. Health and Human Services continue to partner with Feeding South Florida to provide food distributions once weekly to the community. These distributions will continue through the end of September. Distributions are held on Fridays at Wells Recreation from 9 to 11. Currently, these distributions are serving up to 200 families per week. At this time, Tuesday food distributions with our partner Palm Beach Harvest has been discontinued until further notice. A COVID-19 pop-up testing was provided to the community on Thursday, August the 20th at Wells Recreation by Palm Beach County Healthcare District. At that time, Healthcare District provided 73 people with testing. Since the onset of COVID-19, the City of Riviera Beach has partnered with Black nurse practitioners of Palm Beach County and the Healthcare District, and to date, we provided more than 500 tests to the community. To date, Health and Human Services and staff has provided more than 50,000 masks to residents of Riviera Beach. Masks has been provided by way through drive-through distributions, city staff passing out masks within 7 community parks, bulk mass mailings to city residents and senior citizens, mass distributions at Villa Franciscan, Heron Estates, and St. George Homeless Ministries. At this time, mass distributions has culminated, but in the event additional masks are needed, as the city manager instructed, please do not hesitate to contact Health and Human Services at 561-840-0135, and we will ensure that your mask request is met. Thank you. That is the Health and Human Services report. Back to you, Ms. Noel.
Thank you, Ms. Grimsley. Next, we'll hear from our Finance Section Chief, Mr. Sherman.
Good evening, everyone. This is Randy Sherman, City Finance Director. First, I'll start with the utility discussion to echo a little bit about what the City Manager talked about. We have just completed our first full month back under normal operations. And I do want to emphasize, as the manager did, that the door hangers are just to remind people to please give us a call. We do not get any pleasure out of providing a disconnect. Please give us a call. Our number is 561-845-4050, and we will make arrangements to make sure that, again, the water continues to flow and we get your account all caught up. After the first month, we actually only had a couple hundred disconnects, and what we're finding is those properties are actually vacant. Excuse me. So again, 561-845-4050, and we will work with you to get your accounts all straightened out. I did want to kind of put everyone on notice. I spoke about this last week. For the last couple of months, we've been talking about the fact that the Palm Beach County Community Services Department was running a program to assist with your utility bills and assist with rental payments. We were instructed last week that they're kind of putting a pause on that. They've gotten a little bit overwhelmed. They need to take a breather and get caught up, and then they will open the program up again to new applications. So if you can't apply through them at this point, again, give us a call. And that ends my report, Ms. Noel. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sherman. Lastly, we're going to hear from our planning section chief, Mr. Bailey.
Good evening, residents. This is Terrence Bailey, your Public Works Director and Planning Section Chief. The Public Works Department is currently running Alpha Bravo Charlie. We have 2 crews in at any given time to keep up our level of service. In the event that you have an issue, need, find a pothole or a tree down, please feel free to call the Public Works main line at 561-845-4080, or you can go to the city's website and put in a service ticket request directly to Public Works from the website. We encourage all residents to please assist us with your eyes and ears everywhere and use our Q Alert system as is indicated on the website. And with that, that is your planning report. I return it to you, Ms. Noel.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. That completes our staff report. At this moment, we will take any questions from members of the community on anything that was discussed this evening. You can ask a question by simply dialing *9 so that I can unmute your line, and I'll give it a few seconds. All right, seeing that there's no questions before we end, just a quick reminder for everyone listening in this evening. The census continues on, and it's important that we take the time to respond to the census if you have not already. From what I understand, there is a new census deadline for September 30th. So we are about to enter the last month to participate in the United States Census, a once-in-a-decade opportunity. As it stands today, the City of Riviera Beach's overall response rate is at 51%. Back in 2010, we were at 52, so we're very much close to reaching our last record. But this year, we want to surpass that record. And so within the next 30 days, I truly challenge you to communicate and to engage your neighbors, your friends, your families, anyone really, even business owners that reside here, that stay here, that does business here in the city to truly participate in the census. We're talking about federal funding, the determination of federal funding that support the various initiatives that you hear today, whether it may be health and human services, infrastructure, so much more. And so we encourage you to go to 2020census.gov to complete the survey. It's very quick, very easy, and we look forward to your participation. With that being said, we will look to meet again next week, Thursday at 6:30, same line. Have a good evening.